It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
Isn't that funny? I guess I don't know. I go super deep quick. So I'm fascinated. Like, I don't know what humor is, but if you go back to cavemen, it's in our genetics to have humor and be funny. It's part of how we bond as humans and how we grow relationships and trust each other so we can grow businesses and create industries and do great things. And humor is one of those things. And it's like, I'm on my fourth book this week. I've been reading 5 to 6 hours a day and just consuming a lot of deep dive content, doing hard work and taking my business to the next level, my marriage to the next level. And I think when you over polarize, you start to lose sight and value of like, hey man, when's the last time we just like watched a funny movie and laughed our asses off? Or when's the last time we just purposely wasted time and ate popcorn and watched Netflix? I think that it's winter right now in Michigan, and you spend so much time working and hustling and making everything about that hustle, that for me, I started to go through this. I realized I spent years brainwashing and conditioning myself out of survival to hustle.
Yeah. That
nothing else had any value in it for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a lot of catching up to do. So I've spent the last 6 months like going to dinner with family, sleeping in a little bit more, spending more time with a lot of time with my wife, actually meeting my dad for lunch, and a little bit like, oh my God, you guys have been here this whole time. I felt like I've had to go away like Christopher Columbus on a ship and go on this long, hard journey for a decade to really get my shit together. And I've cried too. And I've been at funerals and stuff. And like, I just realized that the people, nobody cares about what you have or how much money you make or, all these feelings of worthiness and all this stuff. It's all like important. Ego is important, a healthy amount of ego.
Oh,
but
yeah.
At the end, when you're on your deathbed, it's really the people that you love that matters, It's like
big time
thinking about that.
Which is why I think as we like do this entrepreneurial thing, we gravitate to people that add value to our lives. It's not a transaction, right? We don't get in business to do a bunch of transactions. Some people maybe do. But when we reflect on our best clients, it's not the ones that pay us the most. When we reflect on our best business buddies, it's not just like the ones we get the most from. It's the ones we can like give to as well. And back to your caveman comment, I think that's fascinating that because we look at every other mammal or animal, it's like, do they do that? Like, is there an element of humor? Like maybe some do. I never even thought about it that way. Like, is there
absolutely animals have humor?
Like monkeys for sure do. Like, yeah. They for sure.
I see it on Facebook Reels and Instagram. A monkey will come up to like a big monkey, like tap him on the back and he'll look around and the monkey's laughing and it'll come back and do it. And then the monkey will find him and chase him down. And you see these things. And like, I got this little dog, a little Yorkie, Chino. He runs full speed and he'll leap through the air outside and bite the other dog. Not bite hard, but like the other dogs get so pissed. He thinks it's so fun as he's running around the yard and he'll drag on my slipper down and up and he's actually humorous. And anyway, I think that studying and paying attention to what happens in nature is a great way to look at business and business relationships. And I feel like jaded. My heart. I wore my heart on my sleeve for like the first 5 years of my business, and I thought my clients really cared about me because I cared about them. Yeah. I just cared so much. And then when I started raising the prices and trying to get everything super legit, they just started firing me and dumping me on my head. And I was actually emotionally hurt.
Oh yeah.
Then I got pissed off and I felt vindictive, and I started looking at all customers as potential, almost like there was a very small season. I don't think this way now, but I had my guard up with customers. I'm like, these people don't care about me. And then I had to grow out of that and realize it's just a business. It's transactional. And if there's more and the customer is a really cool customer, but it's like, I don't know. Does everybody go through that, or am I just like empathic or something?
I think so, because, and I think you hit it on the head earlier, that we like gravitate toward these polarities. I mean, you see it in how people interact. It's like people try to make things black and white, ones or twos. And it's because our brain can like make that connection really easy. It's why stereotypes will never die, because we have to have like we got to find the fastest way to understand a thing. And so that's usually we put everything into that category, because then we can just wrap it in a neat, tight little bow and be like, here's this thing that I know and understand. And we like do that to ourselves, because then we don't have to sit there and reckon with it, right? It's just like, all my customers love me, X, Y, and Z. But in reality, like everything is just on some sort of spectrum, and it's probably not even like a horizontal line. It's probably like a spectrum, you know, like with some circulars to it and this and that, and it goes all over the place. And I think intuitively, like we all kind of know that, but it's hard we can't explain that, right? It's hard to make decisions with that because it's not linear and it's not rational. And so I think we tend to go from like one side to the other, right? Like, oh, my customers love me. Oh, just kidding. They all hate me and I'm just a transaction. In reality, it's probably somewhere in between. And just like when you manage people that are your employees, it's different with every single one of them, right? Like one of them might be here on a certain spectrum and one of them's on a different spectrum altogether and they're over here. And so every relationship is a little bit different. And you can't reckon with all of them, but I think as humans, we do try. And I think this conundrum, we're getting deep, Keith, is what we're doing. But this like conundrum is on its own spectrum of we all as humans, we're on our own like spectrum of how hard we fight to put people in those buckets. So I talk to my buddy Bobby Walker about this all the time, because that's a challenge that he's always had, is he really tries to like make things black and white. And he talks about it openly all the time now, is he's really trying to like not make things black and white and play more in the gray area. But all of us have a different comfort level with uncertainty. And as humans, we prefer certainty. And so we try to push towards these outliers, right? We try to push towards either end of this because it's a certain thing. Even though the world doesn't work that way, we like grasp for it, when in reality, like everything has some layer of gray and we'll never fully understand it. But because of that, we hate it. Like we hate not understanding. So we got to like use stereotypes and hang out with people that look like us and talk like us, because we can better understand them a little bit. I don't think it's good or bad necessarily. I think it's just, if you like step outside of society and just look at how things go, I see that happen a lot. And I think we do a good job as humans. I mean, some of us are total assholes for sure, but we do a pretty good job of like kind of noticing it and trying to fight it a little bit. And everybody tries to fight it a little certain different way. But I think deep down, like we all try to simplify things as best we can. And the stereotypes and the prejudices and stuff that persist are just a function of us as humans totally trying to simplify our lives.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one or check out this one and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.